little bit. And by the way, you remember the short that you did on the last one?
Yeah.
It's got hundreds of views, whereas the hour-long thing has 27 or whatever. Suggestion, it's your show, but a suggestion, break these into segments, 10, 15-minute segments covering, the different things. It's more work for you, but I think you're going to start getting, not because I'm so brilliant or I am that handsome, but I'm not that smart. And I think you're going to wind up with thousands of views instead of 25.
I'll start doing that.
Make sense?
Yeah.
It's bite size. How do you keep your word? How do you do this? How do you do that? Well, why is it important? And I try to follow that as I'm talking to you. Maybe in the future, and again, you do exactly as you decide. It's your show. I'm just thankful to be your friend. But if you keep a notepad, and when I change direction or change, point, oh, okay, point number two, why is this important? Point number three, who needs to hear it? Point, whatever.
Mm,
Then when you hear it, it's easier to edit, clip to that and then start editing it down. Anyway, that was a thought that I've had.
I'll do that. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, our conversations are wonderful, but most people don't want to sit around for a minute or an hour listening to two guys talk. Well, they do it with Joe Rogan, and they just do it with Joe Rogan because they never know what the hell they're going to hear. Um, Final point on imagination. There are a ton of people. One, I started off, remember, there's people not built for it. Leave them alone. Okay? They're content. Leave them alone. You're wasting your time and aggravating them. Just leave them alone. Well, they're miserable. No, they're not. They're pretty content. And if that's not the point for everything that you do, then you're wasting your time. But then you're going to run into these. The grumpy, gruffy old mechanic or, whatever. And, hey, mister, why? I don't know. I don't care. Oh, he has no imagination. Oh, you're full of it. Well, how do you know that? Put him in front of a 4-year-old.
Mm,
And he'll get out on the floor with, oh, hey, what if we built this? And hey, go get the center out of mom's paper towels without unrolling it, and I'll show you how to do this. What is that, Tom?
imagination.
Well, he's a grumpy, grumpy old sucker that doesn't want to be asked any questions about why, what, or if. He doesn't want to be asked about yours.
Mm,
But in his life, because of what he's been through, he's been buffed, polished, chipped, broken, glued back together, and everything else into this beautiful vessel that has a lot to offer with the right people at the right moment. And those are the ones that you sit back and enjoy watching. Does that make sense?
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Imagination. How do you develop a good imagination? What the 7, 10, and 14 point people on Wiki, whatever, Wiki Life will tell you. And they've got a couple of good points. Number one, turn off the TV. Don't let somebody else do your thinking for you.
Yeah.
Don't let somebody else do your imagining for you.
Hmm.
I've used it over my years as a stepping stone or a leaping platform from where I was to somewhere new. But I've never just sat there for hours and hours and hours and let somebody else's imagination be my imagination.
Mm,
So turn off the TV. That's absolutely right. And then they'll say things like, try doing absolutely nothing. Oh, you stupid bastard. That's so stupid. Make yourself write 10 to 15 minutes a day. Sit down and write. Now, I can tell you from experience as a 18-year-old kid, that's the worst thing you can do. If they don't want to write, don't make them write. Put them in front of a 7-year-old trying to do a school project where they want them to describe their Thanksgiving weekend with grandma and grandpa. You put that same 60, 65-year-old grumpy guy that hates writing down with that 17-year-old or 7-year-old, and they got their crayon and they're, trying to write the words and they're not spelled right and they're one's this big and one's this big and it's cute as hell. And he'll read that and he'll look at that and he'll say, "Was that all you did?" "No, we also went to the pond." "That'd be fun. I'd want to read about that." "Yeah, I think I'll write about that." "Yeah, but he's not writing." At the moment, he's assisting someone else learn the joy of writing. And that is powerful. That's worthy. That's valuable. And later on, at some point, a lot of those grumpy old people in the wee hours of the morning or late hours of the night, they'll reach over and they'll grab a pad that their wife had for years, and she's been dead for 2 years, and he hasn't touched it. But he'll grab that spiral pad, and he'll open it up. He'll grab a pen and go, "If I was 7 years old, what would I say about the Thanksgivings that I had with my grandma and grandpa?"
Mhm.
I've seen it. I've seen it. Different people come into the paths of learning, the paths of imagining, the paths of everything else from different points of entry. Give them room to find their point of entry. Don't try to force them. That's what happens when you go to assisted living places and stuff. And come on, Bert, you know you want to do this. Let's paint our balloons. You're insulting his intelligence. You're insulting his wisdom. You're insulting his years. No, I'm trying to engage him. Then learn to engage him the way that Bert deserves.
Yeah.
Put him together with another crusty old combat veteran.
Mhm.
They'll engage each other.
Mhm.
Guarantee you. Or Maud over here that hasn't talked to anybody for 2 years. She had 5 kids and 26 grandkids. Lost 9 of them to wrecks and tornadoes and cancer over the years. And the rest have just not come by because kids and grandkids are that stupid sometimes. Put her together with a 7-year-old trying to do uh, a lesson on what they did at the zoo that Saturday. She'll talk.
Mhm.
Helping people go from where they are to a better state takes work. Too many people have certificates and bachelors and masters and blah blah blah, and they've read the books, but they have no imagination.
Mhm.
If I was that old and I'd been through that much hell in my life and then been abandoned and ignored, what would it take to reach me? How would I want to be approached? And if this happens, see, you want to use imagination? Use your imagination that way.
Mhm.
You didn't expect that, did you?
No, that was good.
Imagination is a wonderful thing. It's misused by those that never grow up. It's abandoned by those who have been beaten for having it,
Mhm.
or at least locked away in a closet and becomes a twisted hellish form of its former self. And then you got those that just never had it. Learn to know the difference. Leave the pigs in the mud and the sunshine. Let them be content.
Mhm.
And if you're that worried about somebody else redeveloping or rediscovering or developing, a good imagination, find out what might have shut theirs down.
Mm.
And don't try to recreate it because that can cause them more pain than you could ever imagine, even though that's not what you would mean to do at all. But introduce them to the same things that brought them joy before: dogs,
Mm.
kids, hot rods, hunting stories. Oh yeah, I was up in Sheridan, Wyoming last September, and blah blah blah, and there was a 6x7, an old bird over here that hadn't said anything for 3 years, hadn't said a word to nobody, but in his day he was a guide, and he's loved hunting his whole life, and now his body's too broken and his pockets are too broke. He can't go anywhere. He hears that, and he knows in Sheridan, Wyoming, there ain't no 6x7s.
Mm.
They killed them all about 40 years ago. And he'll speak up. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
What did you just do? You awakened his imagination because he had to envision what he's seen before. And he had to envision what you're describing. And those are the two feeding points of a good imagination:
Mm.
what you've experienced, what someone's describing, and what you imagine about it. By the way, in writing, if what you write does not make people or give people the opportunity. Let me put it that way. I hate saying make. You made me. I know I didn't make you shit. You made me mad. No, you decided to get mad. I wasn't even trying. So anyway, I try to not use that word too much on that level. But you give people the opportunity so that when they read your words, Tom, within 2 or 3 sentences, there's a movie starting to be created in their mind,
Mhm.
and they can see the people, and they can hear the water, and they can feel the wind coming through the pines. If your writing doesn't do that, go back to the drawing board. The written word, when it's done right, is the playground of imagination. When they read your words, their imagination takes them to all these places that they wouldn't have gone if they hadn't opened the book.
Mhm.
And that helps them develop a better imagination. So maybe my books have value after all.
I think they do.
What do you think?
I really like that conversation. I really think what you said about how to approach people the right way to reach them means so much because I've definitely seen that with a lot of people where they're not really interested and hardly much, and then something will capture their attention that they loved before, and it's like you
Mhm.
see them open up again.
And you don't force feed them that either. Oh,
Yeah,
ice cream makes him smile. Let's shovel a bunch in there. That's the other mistake that people make.
it is.
Don't try to. There's only one Savior in the whole wide universe, and his name is Jesus of Nazareth. You're nobody's Savior,
Mm-mm.
but you can be their friend,
Mm-hmm.
and you can be their protector, and you can be their ally and advocate. That's enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But when you try to save people, you push things on them too fast, too far, too much, a lot of times. You being universal, not you personally.
totally. I think that's why people are kind of aren't a huge fan of when people are like, You need to accept God and do this today and say these prayers and all these things. You're like, whoa, hold on a second. How do you know?
Get out of my face, get out of my space, go on with yourself. It's not that they haven't hungered for him,
Right.
but they've seen this song and dance a million times and they're tired of it.
Hmm.
Last thing, and then let's end this. If you want to keep talking, I'm great with that, but let's end it with this.